And just to get us in the mood for the next prompt, I'm going to read a little bit from the Book of Delights, which is the book that he's reading from in this video. It just came out, I believe, in 2019, so it's pretty recent. And this is really his, I think he did this in a year. It's kind of his project on his version of a gratitude journal. And so he turned various selections of what he wrote into these beautiful, really intimate, he calls them essayettes, which I love. So they're just like these little nuggets of text. And he's a poet as well. So there's often a lot of kind of lyricism and beautiful imagery that comes through too. Um, so I'm going to read just one little tiny section that he reads in this video, um, one of the little essayettes, and it's called Tomato on Board. And if you happen to have the book and you want to read along, it's on page 212. Tomato on Board. What you don't know until you carry a tomato seedling through the airport and onto a plane is that carrying a tomato seedling through the airport and onto a plane will make people smile at you, almost like you're carrying a baby, a quiet baby. I did not know this until today, carrying my little tomato about 3 or 4 inches high in its 4-inch plastic starter pot, which my friend Michael gave to me, smirking about how I was going to get it home. Something about this at first felt naughty, not comparing a tomato to a baby, but carrying the tomato onto the plane. And so I slid the thing into my bag while going through security, which made them pull the bag for inspection. When the security guy saw it was a tomato, he smiled and said, "I don't know how to check that. Have a good day." But I quickly realized that one of its stems, which I almost wrote as arms, was broken from the jostling, and it only had 4 of them. So I decided I better just carry it out in the open. And the shower of love began. Before boarding the final leg of my flight, one of the workers said, "Nice tomato," which I don't think was a come on. And the flight attendant asked about the tomato at least 5 times, not an exaggeration, every time calling it my tomato. "Where's my tomato? How's my tomato? You didn't lose my tomato, did you?" She even directed me to an open seat in the exit row. "Why don't you guys go sit there and stretch out?" I gathered my things and set the little guy in the window seat so she could look out. When I got my water, I poured some into the little guy's soil. When we got bumpy, I put my hand in the little guy's container, careful not to snap another arm off. And when we landed and the pilot put the brakes on hard, my arm reflexively went across the seat, holding the little guy in place, the way my dad's arm would when he had to brake hard in that car without seatbelts to speak of, in one of my very favorite gestures in the Encyclopedia of Human Gestures. So that's Russ Gay. I actually kind of couldn't stop myself from smiling as I read it. So he definitely is someone that brings me joy. So I'd love us to do another writing prompt based on that. So what we're going to do, I'll put this in the chat as well, as we're going to write about an interaction that brought you joy. So just putting that in the chat. So that's our prompt. And we're going to go for about 10 minutes this time. And I'd like you to choose a moment. It could be small or large. It could be with a stranger or someone you know and love dearly. And describe in as much detail as you can what happened. Was the interaction surprising or unexpected in any way? Is it something maybe you do every day or that happens regularly? Um, so I'm going to just put those questions I asked in the chat as well. And so we're going to go for 10 minutes, an interaction that brought you joy. And I'll let you know when the time is up. Again, keep your pen moving for the full 10 minutes. Don't cross out or edit yourself as you write. and I'll let you know when the time is up. Okay, so let yourself wind down, finish up your sentence. And now I'd like to invite folks to once again put in the chat if you feel inspired. Could be a word, a sentence, a paragraph from what you just wrote. Anything you want to share, I'll go ahead and just read a little tiny paragraph of mine, which is actually not the joyful part. Okay, let's see. I was sitting in M and I's living room, their kind, open faces turned towards me, ready to receive my offering of grief. So, yeah, again, through my writing, I realized I actually had some joy come out of actually feeling sad and allowing myself to feel sad and have that be held by other people.